Hello and welcome everybody. This is Adam from Miller's Custom Guitars and the N+1 podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is going to be a very short episode because unfortunately I do not have a guest this week. So I'm just giving you a quick update. So unfortunately there's no guest this week. So I encourage you, if you are listening to the show, to go back and maybe check out an episode that you may have missed. I look at the downloads and the listens, so I know that there's a lot of episodes that have been missed, that haven't been listened to. I know that there are not very many people who listened to the interview that I did with Adam Delhonick, and he talked about being a pastor and what that means to him and how he is trying to interact with the modern culture. I think that's a really good episode. I think that was someone you could go back and listen to. But one thing that I wanted to point out to, if you're just using this as an inspiration to maybe go check out other episodes, recently we had on Jason Rivera, and he talked about being a youth pastor. And recently we also talked about Christy Maxson, who is a licensed marriage and family therapist. One thing that came up in both of those interviews was the issue of depression and anxiety and mental health, especially when it comes to youth and young people in the modern culture. And Jason brought this up, and we talked about it a little bit with Christy and mental health and all that stuff. And those were really good episodes, and I really recommend that you check those out if you haven't checked those out. Those are some of my favorite recent episodes. But this is something that is very near and dear to me, having family members that have struggled with depression, and myself having struggled with some depressive thoughts lately. And so this is really an interesting topic to me, especially since if I had released this episode Thursday morning like I planned on doing, I wouldn't have been able to include this update or a follow-up to those episodes because Wednesday evening there was an event, actually all Wednesday long throughout our county, culminating in a Wednesday evening event that I was able to attend that was all focused on mental health, increasing awareness, reaching out to teens and youth in our community. And this was a community-wide event, and it was so incredible. It was so incredible, and actually, the event was hosted by a local church, but it wasn't put on by them. It was put on by the Sonora Area Foundation with support from local businesses and churches and everybody. And actually, Christy was there, and Jason was there, and a number of local therapists were there, and it was just incredible. And they had a nationally known speaker for increasing awareness about mental health and open communication, especially among young people. And then they had breakout sessions where they had different categories, and both my wife and I went, and they all just kind of fell together. She texted me while I was at work, "Hey, this is happening. I kind of want to go." And I said, "Well, let's go." And we bought some McDonald's for the kids and left them there. And we went into this thing. And oh man, I just learned so much. And it was a great experience. And the thing that was one of the core takeaways that I got from this event was, and this is one thing that I believe as a Christian believer, is that it's like one of the lies from the enemy is that the enemy tells us that we are alone and that no one will understand, no one can understand what we are going through. And this is just not true. And so if you are experiencing depression, if you are having depressive thoughts, and this is what Christy said in her interview, is to find a safe person to reach out and just share so that you don't feel alone, and just find a safe person that you can talk to. And I know about a month ago, and I was feeling some really depressive thoughts. I shared with my wife and I shared with my dad, and if someone reaches out to you that way to be a safe person, I feel like it's really important to not try to solve the problems. Sometimes I feel like a lot of times we just want to feel heard and validated and be like, yeah, we love you and we love, we want to support you, and, you are important, you are valid, you are loved. There's reason to hope, there's reason to keep on caring and giving and loving and, keeping on. Those are some things that I wanted to pass on to you guys. If you're listening to this, to value your mental health and the health of others. Listen to some of those episodes, and that you are important, you are valuable. Even if you don't feel like it's true, that's just a lie. There are people that love you. There are people that care about you. There are people that are pulling for you, and there are safe people that can help you if you are in a tough place. So there's help if you need it. There's a new helpline, and I don't know if this is true for everywhere, but here in Sonora, it's like 911, but it is a new helpline. It's 988. So if you're in Sonora and you are struggling with suicidal thoughts, you need help, you can call 988, and it's like dialing 911, but it's to get immediate mental health help. And so anyway, that is my update, a follow-up from some of those interviews that we had recently. I'm really looking hard to try to get some more interviews lined up. Interviews have been really tricky, but I'm still eager to do this podcast. And if you guys have any suggestions on interviews you would like to see, you guys can post them in the comments here on YouTube. Or if you're go to visit the Facebook group, which I will post a link in the show notes, whether you're listening through an app like Spotify or Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, you can click the link. It'll take you right to the Facebook group. Or if you're watching on YouTube, click that link in the show notes. It'll take you right to the Facebook group. You can become part of the Facebook group. And I want to know what you guys want to hear about. This podcast is all about hobbies, passions, obsessions. And I kind of been tired about hearing about my hobbies and passions and obsessions. I can only have so many guitar guests, guys. Well, it's not true. I can have tons of them because that's what I love to hear about. But I want to hear about what your hobbies and passions and obsessions are. So post those in the comments, post those in the Facebook group. Other than that, guys, make sure you like and share and subscribe. Otherwise, until next time, don't be a jerk.